Good morning, everyone. Yes, still here. I came across something. I got to get straight into it. Across something this morning, a story about True Father, where he shared when he was a young boy born in North Korea, and on how at that time they were under the Japanese, and it was bad. It's just bad. Anytime, I guess people. I mean, most Japanese had nothing to do with that, right? It's just people in power who think they need to go and, I don't know, lord over another power in another country, right? The common people, what do they have to do with all of it, right? And so they weren't allowed to speak Korean, their own language, weren't allowed to do that. Weren't even allowed to keep their own names, had to have Japanese names, this and that. Anyway, so at Father's house, True Father's house, they had an uncle that was very much a part of the resistance. And so he came to the house one day, and Father was 10, and he heard them talk, and realized on how, wow, this is important. I want to be a part of this, but 10, right? So he started in school. He would make a point of learning Japanese better than the Japanese, for example, and really watching what was going on. And then he would, at the end of graduation, he would criticize the teachers, this, that, I don't know what, or just say, hey, look, what are you actually doing? And started with that at 10 years old. Right? Okay, what is that? It's trying to find justice. Right? Where is the justice? And I was listening to it, and I'm going, man, that sounds so much like what I went through in a way. Okay, would I go through the same thing as True Father, who became the second coming? That's what we see it as. That's what it is. And I had 40 years plus, to figure out, okay, am I following the right thing? Is that really? And I have to say, yes, absolutely. Done. Go and figure it out yourself if that's what you want to do. Get the divine principle. Read up on True Parents, Reverend Sun Myung Moon and Mrs. Hak Jahan Moon. Right? Go read up on it. Do your own studying. Right? Come to your own conclusions. Right? That's what I did. But listening to the story and going, oh my gosh, this is so me. When I was little, I started to go to school and all that, I wanted to be a good child. My mom was a single mom, raising her children. It was hard enough for her already. I did not want to cause any kind of trouble to my mom by causing trouble out there in the world. Okay? But I couldn't stand injustice. And one thing, of course, when you go into school as a child, is the bullying. Okay? Was I bullied? No, I wasn't bullied. If I was bullied, I didn't notice it. So I said, I read a lot. Okay? I had a book with me everywhere I went. So my social interaction really with the children and even the teachers and all wasn't all that great. I mean, there wasn't much of that, but I was a very, very good student. So eventually, I guess it's just how you feel within yourself, how you're connected to things. Even as a child, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to step in. When I saw, I didn't care who it was, if I knew the children, if I didn't know them, I would step in. When I saw something, I'd say, no. That's not right. This is wrong. And even with the teachers. If I would see anything that was so biased, why does this one get allowed to do that and gets away with it, and this one gets reprimanded for it? Right? I just wanted to know why they did that. Well, in any case, so by the time I hit 6th grade, I was known as the wrestler. I got that reputation because of one incident, which I'm not necessarily proud of, but not gonna. And I was someone to be feared suddenly. I was the quietest, okay, most unintrusive. What I mean, if there would have been a line of popularity or whatever, I'd have been the last one in line, okay? And yet I had suddenly this reputation as a wrestler, catcher. Oh, here comes the catcher. Because I put a boy in his place, physically, yes. I didn't hurt him. It was a lot of snow involved. Because of something he did that was way out of line, and he needed to be taught a lesson. He was a head taller than me as well. And yet the mom, he was so scared to come to school in the afternoon, because we go home for lunch in Switzerland. He came to school with his mom in the afternoon. Of course, I was called in, and, you know, and my greatest worry wasn't because of, no, he needed that lesson. I didn't hurt. As I said, there's no blood. There was no, just a lot of snow involved. And I got away kind of with just a reprimand. Got away. And my biggest worry while that all happened was, oh my gosh, if my mom finds out, she's going to worry about me, and I didn't want her to have to worry. Interestingly enough, the teacher that I had at the time, I guess, looked at the whole situation and went, well, okay, yeah. And, don't let that happen again. And it never did happen again. Not like that. But from then on, in 6th grade, I was 12 years old. Children who felt bullied on their way home by other children, they just hung on to me. They walked home with me. Guess what? Nobody bothered them again. My own brother and sister, a little younger, say, sis, we're going to wait for you at the bottom of the hill, because they're going to be waiting for us at the top of the hill. I'm going, I wonder what they did. And here's, okay, so here I come, and the boys at the top of the hill saw me coming. Again, they were not even in the same school building, okay? Yet everybody knew me as, okay, don't mess with her. And they saw me coming, and we started walking up the hill, and they just ran away. Done. I left school early in 8th grade. That's all we had to do, because of a teacher that I went and I told him, I said, this, what you just did to this one girl here, with it had to do with the grades, this and that, and what you didn't do to this other one, I said, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Look, she's in tears because she has to take that home now and show her parents, and it had to do with behavior. And she was a quiet, I can't see how I always got a, not quite what would you translate it? There was, in behavior, you had 3 grades, okay? It was good, then there was not so good, and bad kind of thing. And I always had not so good. Again, why? I'm not sure, because supposedly I liked looking out the window, dreaming rather than paying attention, which wasn't true because I did both, right? And my grades should have showed that in any case. All right. Maybe that's the teachers got back at me in this way, right? Because that's not a good thing to bring home in Switzerland. Because I would pipe up and say, wait a minute, you did not say that. You're telling us that we didn't do something, but you never said that. I would remember, right? And they didn't like that I would call them out on things. So in 8th grade, the end of 8th grade, I went up to the teacher and said, you need to change that. I said, I'm not getting why this girl, who's actually really quiet, hardly ever talks in classes, gets a not so good, and this guy over here, who talks incessantly in school, gets a good. I said, I'm not getting that. Explain that to me, and you need to change that for her. Because look, she's in tears. She has to bring that home to her parents and explain what? Something she didn't do? And he's like, well, that's just, I already did that now. And I'm going, well, you can change it. But he didn't. I said, you know what? I am not going to be taught by you again. I went home, told my mom I'm done with school. I'm going to work. That was that. Okay, big long thing going here. What I want to get to with that story, so I felt like, oh, I understood where Father came from. Because as soon as I kind of woke up to, okay, there's something going on around me. It really bothers me. Am I going to do something about it? Or am I just going to look away like I see even today in schools where teachers, even children who could just step in and say, excuse me, yeah, don't do that to another student, this or that, right? Does it give people, especially adults, satisfaction when they see children bully other children? This should have been completely eliminated out of our school systems by now. Well, it should never even have existed. Why does it? And why do children continuously get bullied in school? Then people are surprised when suddenly something really bad happens. Right? I'm just saying, go look for the root, the cause of things, rather than just continuously just skim off things off the surface to what? Not offend the rich parents or the influential parents? Okay. Just saying. But here's the thing with children. What I found when I hear, oh, this boy, this girl, they're just causing trouble, they're just trouble, just constantly trouble. And I come around them, I find, no, they're not trouble. They're actually putting themselves out there when they see something, just like I used to when I was a child. They pipe up. They say something, right? Okay, does it always come out the right way? Okay, how come in the way that it is presented seems to be so much more of an offense to people rather than, wait a minute, why is this child acting like this? Let's find out. What did you see? What did you hear? Why are you telling me this? Let's figure this out. Because that's what I did every time I had a child going, whoa, what's going on here, right? And figured out very quickly they have a great sense of justice, right? Now, I'm not talking bullies who for no apparent reason except for power and maybe they're disgruntled at home or who knows what, right? Need to exert the negative, that's negative power. That's not positive power. That's negative power, right? Yes? All right. And there too. Why are they bullies? Find out children being bullies? What the heck? What is that? Just saying. So here, one would think, I'm listening to the story of True Father, I'm going, he would be a troublemaker. Right? He was a troublemaker. He was a troublemaker and he would be considered a difficult child, right? And anyway, you getting my drift here? Yeah. So, there was one thing that came to my mind where, if we teach especially the boys, the girls seem to be a little less violent or you said what? Well, you'll come, right? Yes? Is to, okay, let's pray. Teach them. If you have a child at home that gets into fights at school, this, that, I don't know what, first of all, find out why first. Right? What was the reason? And then really get to the bottom of things. And then teach them, okay, if there is a problem, if you have that sense of justice within you, okay, then here is another way. You've got to be able to take a step back first and say, let's pray. And then we'll figure this out. And if that can't be figured out, you go and find an adult. And hopefully adults will be around who take this a little more serious. I have to say that in my little county where I live, surely there's some bullying going on, this stuff, but when it comes down to it, it's all the schools are amazing. They have amazing teachers, principals, this and that. There's very little, okay, that gets out of hand. Oh, how do I know that? Well, my sissy is a substitute teacher in all the schools, right? So she gets to see it all, and she just says, man, these kids are just amazing, and they have a place for everyone. And from the way she tells me, even in high school, when there is a child that has some hyperactivity, certain other things, the children don't escalate what already is causing some how do you say, disturbance maybe, or this or that in the classroom, due to the fact they know how they're being taught on how to support a child, one of their classmates, right? And not aggravating, but to kind of, okay, we know, for example, I'll give you an example. This one boy, very, very hyper. He can hardly sit in the chair. It's like, right? He's smart, very smart when he gets his work done. So what they did is they put him all the way in the front so the teacher can really keep an eye on him. And they put the smartest girl next to him, right? That is very consistent with concentrates, this and that, gets the work done, right? And the girl helps him to stabilize. Okay, come on now. Let's keep going right here. Oh, you already got this down. Good. Go to the next one. So they have a child next to the boy, right, to the other child. It's not that he's not smart. It's just his body can't calm down, right? And the calmness of the girl, the other student next to him, helps him to kind of, to stabilize that hyperactivity. Wow. And it's working. It's working. It's working. Anyway, she comes home with many really amazing stories like that, where our school system in our little county, the people are really trying. Really trying. Because it's a small community, right? Yes? Everybody knows each other, kind of. Anyway, so, was it always like that? I remember when my youngest one went to school. Now, that's now, 10 years ago. Oh, more than that, when you count elementary and all that. It was already good, the school that I had her in, okay? And then as it went on, it was really, I felt like it was really God-guided on how my youngest one went to school for one thing and one thing only, learning. When things would come up, I could talk to the teachers. There are certain things with my youngest one where she fell apart really easily, right? It was just one of she's always had this since little on. It was like, okay, that's just how she is, right? I fell apart, Mom, I don't want to cry, but I can't help it. That's just how my feeling. That's how her feelings came out, right? Yes? Another child, with her, it was, right? Yes? I recognized that. What did I do? Instead of just the teachers going, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Oh, did I do something? I went and I talked to them. Right from the beginning when she went to first grade. This is what happens. But if you explain to her why she did this wrong, or why did it, then she will recover, right? But she will recover. It's not that this is how she shows her emotions. Right? Yes, it's a little different. Well, it's with other children the same thing. Their emotions aren't always controlled. They're not always coming out in the same way as we put them in these little boxes. There's a lot of children out there who are showing their emotions differently. And as adults, also having been children, we should acknowledge that better. Yes? Anyway, okay, had my say on that. I've seen a lot of posts again, this or that, bring a Bible class back to school, bring prayers back to school, public schools, I guess. Well, they're all public schools, and I've never seen anybody tell the children, the children supposedly are allowed. It's just teachers weren't allowed to pray in school. Okay, drill, 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 sawdust coming out. In a country that's predominantly Christian and founded under In God We Trust and all. Okay, I'm sorry. What? What is that? Nobody gets stopped to pray. Nobody. Yes. But nobody's forced to either. Yes? I believe that God has to be God needs to be the center of every school. I don't care what people say out there. To not have God, the Ten Commandments, the Lord's Prayer, getting to know about our brother Jesus, not to have in school, in my opinion, is absolutely foolish. There, I had my say. Now, let's get going. And getting to know the Word of God, getting to know the words of Jesus, okay, getting to know the Old Testament, which actually teaches a lot, as we already know, on what not to do, okay, on what actually the causes are of some of the things we're going through now. How is that wrong? It's history. This is all history. Biblical history. What does it matter? It's history. The New Testament. How is the guidance of Jesus not an amazing thing? What? Oh, because it actually teaches, the New Testament actually teaches to rather not sin. To not sin is actually a better thing than to sin. That's a problem with adults out there? Okay, all right, gotcha. Yeah, you see? What's the root of all this complaining and taking God out of everything, this and that? Oh, because that's not your religion? Who cares? Go to another country then. Okay, I'd like you to stay. But don't stop us from building a better world for everyone. Thank you. Okay. I know the ones who are watching this, of course you're not like that, right? Yes? Yeah? Okay. But, you know, this is all energy, goes all around to, yes? There you go. Okay. Now, let's get into yeah, I'm like Jesus in the temple. No, I don't turn things over anymore. Doesn't stop me from. All right. Okay. So we are in the first book of Chronicles 17. After David had been living in his new palace for some time, he said to Nathan the prophet, "Look, I'm living here in a cedar paneled home while the Ark of the Covenant of God is out there in a tent." So he built palaces for himself, several ones. I thought he did build something for the ark too, but it's just a tent still. And Nathan replied, "Carry out your plan in every detail, for it is the will of the Lord." Oh, sure. But that same night, God said to Nathan, "Go and give my servant David this message. You are not to build my temple. I've gone from tent to tent as my home from the time I brought Israel out of Egypt." Oh, that's the first I've read about that. In all that time, I never suggested to any of the leaders of Israel, the shepherds I appointed to care for my people, that they should build me a cedar-lined temple. Oh, where is this going? "Tell my servant David, the Lord of heaven says to you, I took you from being a shepherd and made you the king of my people." Now, okay, that's not true, but all right. "And I have been with you everywhere you've gone. I have destroyed your enemies and will make your name as great as the greatest of the earth." I don't believe God said that. "And I will give a permanent home to my people Israel, and will plant them in their land." Yes, that he did say. "They will not be disturbed again. The wicked nations won't conquer them as they did before. when the judges ruled them. Okay. You see? We already know on how it's going to go on, right? Why would God say that? Why would God say that to Nathan? Huh? While his people were not fully established yet. And it could go the other way. Because we already know, God was angry with them and put them back into the hands of whom? But here he says, it sounded good at the time. It sounded good at the time, didn't it? But now that we know more, we know God could have never have said that. He would have never have said that unless he was 100% sure he wouldn't have to break what? His promise? God breaks promises? What did Nathan just say here to David? What God said. That's very inconsistent, and I do not believe that. I do not believe in a God like that. I've never experienced God like that. Say it this way. It's to, you know what? David built them palaces, this and that, and then God's still in a tent. His conscience was bothering him, wasn't it? Now they had to figure out a way to make that right. Yeah. But was it really God's way? I will subdue all of your enemies, and I now declare that I will cause your descendants to be kings of Israel just as you are. When your time here on earth is over and you die, I will place one of your sons upon your throne. Okay, do you remember how Solomon got the throne? All right, that wasn't God. And I will make his kingdom strong. He is the one who shall build me a temple, and I will establish his royal line of descent forever. Oh, okay. That's okay. All right. Okay, Daniela, just read. Yes, there's so much to say to this. There comes my, right? Don't put words in God's mouth. Please don't do that. Right? Yes? Especially when we already know it will not be consistent going down the line of the kings. Right? Yes? I will be his father, and he shall be my son. I will never remove my mercy and love for him as I did from Saul. I could say so much to this now. I'm not going to. It's going to take forever otherwise, this video. We have still a lot to read. It will come up again. I will place him over my people and over the kingdom of Israel forever, and his descendants will always be kings. We know how many of these kings were what? Bullies. According to this little part right here, God put them all in place to bully them. You believe that? I don't believe that. Somebody made this up. Oh, the part that I want to believe is where God said, I don't want you to build me. I've gone from house to house, tent to tent, moving with my people. I don't need a permanent place. I believe that. And then they added a whole bunch of stuff to it. Why do you think that was? Because God was what? So humble, in a way. And the kings were so what? Excessive. Well, we know Solomon had how many wives and concubines? Okay, just saying. So Nathan told King David everything the Lord had said. Oh yeah, I bet you did. Now added some to it. Thank you. Sorry, Nathan. I know. I didn't live at that time. I'm sure it was difficult to figure out. Again, how do we stop bullying? How can Nathan really be of service to God? Oh my gosh, what's going on with the people out there and them kings, this and that? What do I do? What do I do to encourage them? I could see that. I'll give Nathan some. Okay. Then King David went in and sat before the Lord and said, Who am I, O Lord God, and what is my family that you have given me all this? He has to ask? For all the great things you have already done for me are nothing in comparison to what you have promised to do in the future. For now, O Lord God, you are speaking of future generations of my children being kings too. You speak as though I were someone very great. Okay, I have something to say to this. Again, what does David like to do? What else can I say? You know that I am but a dog, yet you have decided to honor me. Oh Lord, you have given me these wonderful promises just because you want to be kind to me, because of your own great heart. Oh Lord, there is no one like you. There is no other God. In fact, we have never even heard of another God like you. Flattery, calculated manipulation. And what other nation in all the earth is like Israel? You have made a unique nation and have redeemed it from Egypt so that the people could be your people, and you made a great name for yourself when you did glorious miracles in driving out the nations from before your people. Whoa! What did he say? And you made a great name for yourself. Okay. Oh. Hey, David, I'm telling you what. At that time, I'm sure, yeah, okay. You have declared that your people Israel belong to you forever, and you have become their God. He makes it sound as if God had to establish himself amongst the people of Israel, not the other way around, which the other way. The people of Israel needed to establish themselves before God, not the other way around. Right? That would be the right way, right? Don't you think? Just saying. And now I accept your promise. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of some of the conversations I had with my children as they were going through some growing pains or whatever, and I'd listen to them and going, okay, what now? What did you just say? Children tend to reverse sometimes, right? Positions, right? Yes, where you're listening to them as if they're making you into the child or something, right? And vice versa. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, but what did I say when I was younger and I had to tell? Okay. Right. I see this a little bit different here, right? Again, who are you guided by? Yes, I always felt guided by God and spirit world, even as a child, right? I mean, as I've said this before, and how confusing sometimes it got when I saw certain things or heard certain things, perceived certain things. I didn't know where to put things, right? But I learned as I grew older. Well, he's going to accept. And now I accept your promise, Lord, that I and my children will always rule this nation. And may this bring eternal honor to your name as everyone realizes that you always do what you say. They held you to it, didn't they? They will exclaim, the Lord of heaven is indeed the God of Israel. Oh, so did the people suddenly not start to believe in the God of Israel anymore because they realized that, hey, wait a minute, where are all these promises? Why are we suddenly being under the yoke of someone else? Why are we not doing so well? I don't know. Just saying. Misrepresenting God. That's absolutely happening here right now. And Israel shall always be ruled by my children and their posterity. Now I have the courage to pray. Now I have the courage to pray to you, for you have revealed this to me. God himself has promised this good thing to me. This good thing to me. It's all about him. I'm telling you. May this blessing rest upon my children forever. For when you grant a blessing, Lord, it is an eternal blessing. Well, we all know on how it went. This is the end of 17. We all know how it went with some of his children who ended up rebelling against him. Then Solomon, who, kind of, well, whoever had whatever to do with that, getting that position as one of his, I don't know how many sons. Well, we know there's quite a few, probably a lot of them not named, who knows. And then on how that went. But here's the thing. So if Nathan comes and tells this to David, and David's like, oh, wow, okay, well, I'm going to hold God to it. That's basically what he's doing. Whatever Nathan told him, he's going to hold God to it. He never says anything about what he's going to do, really, when it comes down to it. How is he going to move forward? Hey, Nathan, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make sure that we are going to also keep our promises to God? We need to go back to what? Doing what? Studying. If this was truly given by God to Nathan to tell David, then number one, he would have to do what? Educate all of his sons. All of them. Because he doesn't know which one. Really, it comes down to it. Is going to inherit what? The throne. But it sounds like he didn't do that. Even at the end, when David wasn't doing so well, what did the people around him do? Obviously do what he liked best, is having a young girl around him. Yes? Okay, just saying. He should have had all his sons around him. He should have been still giving whatever there was to get, right? Give. Yes? Which brings a song, just brings that one song to mind, Amazing Grace. Right? It's a great song, Amazing Grace. The story behind Amazing Grace is also quite something. That people's eyes have to be opened to certain things that are clearly 100% always wrong, like slavery. Baffles me. Absolutely baffles me. That in World War II, a whole people could be rounded up amongst another people and done to them what was done to them, including children, pregnant women, all. Not that they're more important than just a woman and just a man, okay? But there shouldn't be a difference. We're equal. We're all equal in God's eyes. All of us, regardless. But that was even possible not too long ago is, how is that possible? How could that ever have been possible? How's child trafficking possible? How is it possible for so many drugs to come into our country? I can't speak for other countries. How is that possible? And why are so many people lining up for them? How's that possible? Just wondering. Hi, honey. You want breakfast? Okay. I'm almost done. You always come just at the right time. Okay? How about this morning? You want a bagel and cream cheese? Yes? And would you an apple with it? All right. Okay. Okay. So let's finish this up. I said, how is it possible? I brought up in the beginning, and because I heard fathers, right, 10 years old, he was 10 when he kind of woke up to, hey, I was about the same age. And I went, wait a minute. I couldn't. As a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, my conscience couldn't watch anymore when a child was being bullied by other children. I had to step in. I didn't care. Interestingly enough, I was never attacked. Even when I would stand in front of someone and say, okay, we're done. We're done. Whatever you guys are doing, you're done. What are you doing? And that was weird. What are you doing? The interesting thing is that when a person that is bullied stands alone, and as soon as another person comes and stands next to them and goes, what now? The bullies back up. I've every time I've ever come, even as an adult, I've come across this, they back up. Strength in numbers, I guess it's true. Strength in numbers on the side of goodness, though. Remember? Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, that's, again, if you think that I will ever pick up a gun and start shooting at people because of what, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I know there are other ways to deal with these things. We're just not willing. Right? Yes? Again, got so humble. I'll stay in a tent. I'm good with that. I don't need a big old palace. I don't need a temple. Tent's good. What I need is the attention of the people. We'll get into that in the divine principle and why that is. Jesus talks about that too, by the way. So New Testament. Anyway, I got to finish up. Got a hungry girl in there. Could say more and more and more, right? But done for now. Yes. Yeah. But that story that a guy just told recently on father's story, that true father story, 10 years old, when he woke up to the situation around him with his people, with his countrymen, countrywomen, and under what kind of yoke they were at. And he put himself out there as a 10-year-old. Started in school is what I did too. All right, well, enough of that. Just to quickly finish this up. I've seen enough of it on where I've seen on how people want to now, right? Exalt Jesus, exalt true Father above everybody else. And I get it. They deserve their place where they are at for what they've done for mankind. But the thing is, stories like this, every time they come around, I realize we're connected all in a way. Yes? I'm right there with Father when it comes to that story. Right there. certain things, that I've read in the New Testament with Jesus, I'm going, yep, yep. It's the unity part, the part where we all belong, that I feel is so important for us to realize, and to understand our own worth that we have. Yes? Good ending. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you. And I will talk to you another time.